Well, Mr. Bomb, you are a lucky bomb. You sure had some heavy scars and bruises when you came in, and in just 45 minutes, you're fully recovered.
Well, I've learned my lesson. Never explode inside a small enclosed place.
I have already taken care of the discharge papers, so you may leave when you're ready, and enjoy your new look.
New look? What are you talking about? What the? Whoa! I just made a weird face. What the? There it is again! What the? I now have different emotions? Holy shit! This is actually kind of cool. Huh, I wonder what else I could do. Let's see. Let me. Ah! Oops.
America does have a terrorism problem, but it's not carried out by Muslims or Muslim radicals. It's actually being carried out by Trump's avid supporters.
First, we have Hillary calling us a bunch of deplorables. Then we have Don Lemon and his asshole friends saying that we're a bunch of idiots because we can't find a certain country on a map. And now here you are saying that we're terrorist supporters.
Some of whom think it's a good idea to walk into a Walmart with guns and shoot people because he doesn't like immigrants and is inspired by Donald Trump. That's one example. I mean, look, it started with Charlottesville, but that was just the very first instance of right-wing extremism leading to murder in this country. So if he cares about doing anything about terrorism, he should focus on the terrorism that impacts Americans the most, which is carried out by his supporters. That's just the truth.
Hey, rat with tits! You left out one very important notion in the examples you gave us there. We are against it. We don't appreciate or like what they did. We do not like, we despise what those assholes did. The shooting of the Walmart thing, we're totally against it. We do not like it. And here you are saying that we like it? Go fuck yourself. Where do you find these people that say, yeah, I like what that guy did at Walmart. Yeah, I like what that guy did at Charlottesville with his car. They were awesome. Where? Talk about having a black heart. I mean, I don't even think she even has a heart.
Yeah, and even if the numbers weren't actually worse that direction, it is really bizarre and suspect to leave out a rapidly growing area of terrorism like that.
Right. You think that the act of terrorism from Trump supporters are happening every day in America? Are you fucking nuts? One person will go out and do something completely stupid that we as a collective would say, hey, that guy, he was a fucking idiot for doing something completely stupid. We don't want him, on our side. That is ridiculous. And yet here you bastards are saying that, oh look, he's a Trump supporter, and look, he hates the same thing that our president hates, which means that everyone else who likes the president must have the same thoughts as what this guy did. You are fucking delusional, all of you, all three of you, including your stupid boss. And here's what's even more messed up. They'll bring up stupid shit like this if something Trump-related happens, but when something, opposite of Trump, something liberal-related would happen, they would not spread news about it whatsoever. I don't know if you guys have heard about this already, but in Jacksonville, Florida, there was a tent set up by Trump supporters who are just bringing people over to make sure that if they register to vote, and if they haven't, they'll help them set up. But keep in mind, they're Trump supporters, so they got their banners up. And this douchebag in a van saw it, got triggered, drove into them, tried to run them over, take down the tent too. Well, that guy got arrested, and now he's facing trial for 6 or 7 counts of attempted murder. But do the Young Turks or any media out there talk about it? No! Barely! Instead, they want to support, hardcore activist groups like Antifa or Black Lives Matter when they go after people who are Trump supporters, and they totally praise that.
The number of incidents they're happening all over the country, it is especially bizarre when you are a person who has described yourself as the only person that can protect us. Well, the only person that can protect us can't protect us if they can't acknowledge that one of the things that's...
You mean like how his support for the wall is actually being quite successful in helping us because people crossing over the border has dropped dramatically over time. So we know that the wall is fucking working.
That's potentially going to harm us. That's not the only area, of course. There was no mention of climate change.
Oh, boo-hoo, no climate change talk. Because we, as a Western nation, do not have an issue with climate change. We are doing pretty damn well when it comes to environment protection. We have hell of more trees than we did 100 years ago. We have various ideas and methods on how to recycle certain products. We have many choices on what you could do to help, save the environment, like the plastic bag issue. If you don't want to use a plastic bag, fine. We have reusable bags. You have the option to do that. It's up to you. If you want to do that, go for it. And the World Health Organization had recognized us to have the best air quality in the world. I mean, if you want to talk about really bad environmental issues, then you should bring it over to countries like India or North Korea or any country in the Middle East or Somalia or China. What's that? You won't? Because figures.
He said something about the environment, then he talked about the trillion trees, and then he moved on to another topic. The greatest threats that actually, gun violence, he didn't mention that.
Of course not.
No, but he did say that he will do everything in his power to make sure that our Second Amendment will be protected no matter what.
Unless you truly believe that Guatemalan refugees are the thing that's gonna get you, then no, he's not gonna defend you because he can't even identify the threats that we face.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!
We talk about the equality of people we're looking to protect. The targets generally, as you mentioned, of people of this type of terrorism are the type of people he doesn't care about. Again, he come down the escalator in 2015 to announce his candidacy. I believe it was 2015, yeah.
Yes.
And the first thing he says is how he's gonna go after certain groups. They're rapists, they're murderers, they're criminals. That's the basis for everything he's ever done.
He did not say that every single person in the South is a rapist, murderer, and so on and so on. He did not say all of them are. What the fuck? Why do you guys skip this every goddamn time? This is so, oh my God, this is so cheesy and repetitive.
And then it was to get to his third State of the Union. I'm in this guy's head.
Yeah, this is the third one.
It goes back to these points of how this unity,
Or
equality,
second one.
2017, 2018, 2019, now this.
You guys should have had this ready before you started filming. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
Yeah, we
Oh my God.
love.
The first one isn't
You're right.
technically a State of the Union.
Yeah, it doesn't have
It's
to
a
have that,
speech,
but
it's an address, it's not a State of the Union.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. And then so again, then you give this flowery language, and none of it's backed by any policy, agenda, or words since. And so if your basis for your usefulness for our country is to put up Muslim bans,
Which was already created under the Obama administration. And do you know, Trump did tweak that Muslim ban that you guys keep bragging about. Instead of 7 countries, he knocked it down to 6. And instead of, 6 months, he knocked it down to 3. He backpedaled on it. And yet you still call him a creep. And again, it's not a Muslim ban. It's just a temporary vetting on certain countries that were known to have a high concentration of terrorist activities. If it was a complete Muslim ban, how come Bangladesh or Indonesia, that country with more Muslims than any other country in the world, why was that not on the Muslim ban list? You fucking retards. By the way, thanks for showing up so professional with your hat and your cheesy shirt and everything. Yeah, you look very professional. Very journalist-worthy. Shithead.
Specifically have ICE go after certain individuals and call Muslims the only terrorists in the world.
Because if you look at certain data, you would see that most Muslims commit the most terrorist activities. There's a shit ton of terrorist groups out there. Muslim terrorist groups like ISIS, Al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, the Uyghurs, the Chechens, the Taliban, the Mujahideen, the Martyrdom Brigades.
That just doesn't match up with the flowery language of before. And you talk about children. This party is looking to protect all children. There's children in cages. It was your policy.
That was during the Obama administration, you fuckhead!
And then when it was pushed, we had some pushback for it. You got angry and said, how dare you guys want to establish and allow people, these radical immigrants to come in our country and destroy us. It's none of it adds up. Like we're supposed to forget the past 3 years of life and just assume the flowery language adds up. And if you don't accept that, you're just being angry. You're just being a hater. You just don't want to accept American exceptionalism. He's not pursuing American exceptionalism. In his mind, American exceptionalism is the people who look just like him.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Right.
So if people who don't look like him are dying from his lack of exceptionalism, that's okay. They're not real Americans anyway.
But look, I think you're right. He has a special level of disdain and hatred for people, for non-whites, for sure.
Even though back in 1986, he was awarded the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. Oh, and let's not forget that millions and millions of blacks and Latinos in this country today are finding work. Therefore, unemployment level in those races have dropped big time. And yet you still think he's racist? You guys are shit journalists. I don't even think you are journalists anymore. You're just a bunch of haters. That's what you are. Just a bunch of annoying haters.
However, he doesn't really care about people who look like him either. You think he cares about his supporters in the middle of the country? How many of these family-owned farmers or farmers who own, family-owned farms? How many
Small
of
farms.
those individuals have like literally killed themselves because of what happened with this trade war? Right? They've gone bankrupt. They can't afford to even keep that farm anymore.
Farmers had to deal with this thing called the Clean Water Rule, which really hurt farmers. And so Trump looked into it and was like, this is ridiculous. We're getting rid of it. And he did just that. There was also like some kind of insecticide that Obama administration got rid of, even though they lacked the science as to like the harms of it, because there was nothing harmful about this particular insecticide. And so Trump said, you guys keep doing what you're doing with it. It's not harmful. You guys saw it. You've been using it for years. Go right ahead. I mean, all of these EPA Obama-related regulations farmers went through, that was a heavy toll on them. And then Trump just got rid of them. And now the farmers are relieved and they're proud.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about any of you. He doesn't even care about the very people that he mentioned in his State of the Union address tonight.
Oh, so we should just believe that Trump's not keeping his promises. He's just making all this stuff up. Except for the fact that all of his promises are true. He's actually abiding to those promises tenfold.
The families, the children, everyone he used as props.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop you fucking lying.
Because when push comes to shove, when it comes to actually doing something policy-wise that improves their lives, he won't do it. How will it benefit him? He might pass policies that benefit a small group of people if he can cite it for his re-election campaign. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump looks out for Donald Trump. He doesn't care about you regardless of your skin color.
Wow, the land of make-believe.
But if you happen to be a person of color, there's a special level of disdain.
Yeah, because he can use them more, use those folks more to advance his own
100%.
self.
There was
What in the fuck are you talking about? There are Democratic candidates out there that are going after the black people, saying that, if you vote for us, we'll be sure that you get a shit ton of money via reparations. That was their main thing. And the main agenda is to just buy back the black vote. And the only kind of black people that would be into that are the black people who already voted for them in the first place. They believe that going to these black communities and sympathizing with them, saying, we know the pain you've been suffering since the slavery, even though they were never around when slavery was around.
There was even there's tokenism always at these sorts of events. They're always going to point to 6 people that they brought. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's
both parties do that.
They do. I would say that even without what I'm going to turn to in just a moment, I think that in particular, considering his demonization of immigrants in our country, demonization of other parts of the region as being, S-holes and things like that.
Demonization of the.
Okay, John, first off, slow the fuck down when you're talking. And secondly, those immigrants that are coming into the US, do you know what they're running away from? Their shithole countries. Because they're actual shitholes. Why else would they leave?
The fact that it was very targeted at, I'm bringing in people who are not white and I'm totally being nice to them, seemed even more disingenuous.
Oh yeah, very disingenuous. Like when he brought in Charles McGee, a black fighter pilot since World War II, and he has fought in many areas during World War II, the Korean and Vietnam War. 100-year-old man, keep in mind, and he has done over 130 combats. He has actually served our country more than anyone, and I appreciate this guy. And Trump would earlier that day before the State of the Union, pinned a star on him and made him Brigadier General. That was fucking awesome. And then we have Janiah Davis, a 4th grade girl from Philadelphia. Hi, Janiah. Who wanted to go to, a different school instead of going to the one applied by, the zip code. Like, you have to go to this school because zip code. And now Trump has said that now she can go to any school she wants, and he was trying to promote school of choice, which is also a great thing.
But then on top of it, it was the reality showization of the State of the Union that even like the freedom of the Medal of Freedom that he gave, and Rush Limbaugh pretending that he didn't know that it was going to happen. Yeah. It's not just that he's giving it to basically a right-wing shock jock. In a time when he's been targeting the media in so many different ways over the past few years, he has to do it there. So he doesn't have a plan for education, making sure that more people have access to it, something for student debt, but he'll give one kid a scholarship right there. He'll reunite one soldier with his family there, but he won't actually bring our soldiers back, even though he campaigned on it and he's been saying it ever since.
Yeah, and then you notice that after giving the girl that opportunity, he then said, hey, Congress, you see what I did here? It's not that hard. I need you to pass this certain bill that'll get other students to do this as well. So, yeah, he's basically saying, Congress, do something. But if you saw the State of the Union, obviously you didn't see a whole lot of people on that one certain side of the building not really standing up and clapping for her. Tisk, tisk, tisk. That's all I gotta say.
So he's got like little representative samples of what people want. And I hope that they're not gonna get fooled by it, that they won't say, oh, that was exciting at that event. Remember when he did that nice thing for that girl? Oh, I still have $40,000 in student loan debt. I hope that people will see through it.
Hey, people who have 401k, how's your 401k looking?
But there was clearly an effort to distract with games, basically.
Yeah, definitely. And look, the people who support him will continue supporting him, and they're a lost cause, and I have no interest in trying to persuade them otherwise.
Again, go look at your 401k. Go look at your paycheck. You'll notice that on your paycheck, the feds are taking less money out of your pay than before. I've noticed it, and so should the rest of you workers. More people are finding more work. Salaries are going up. People that are paying off their bills, whether it's utility or personal stuff, they see in their accounts like, wow, I still got a decent amount of money. Usually, I'm screwed and I can't do anything. Now I can go out and get a pizza for once.
But there is a lot riding on this upcoming election, which is why it's important to make the right decision in picking a Democrat who can actually beat him. Because look, I support Bernie Sanders because he speaks to the issues that I think need to be tackled aggressively in this country, and I think that he has the right solutions for them. But if I was just thinking about this from a purely strategic perspective, and all I cared about was beating Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders is the right person to do it. Because he's the only person who actually speaks to the issues that even Trump supporters are concerned about, right? Mm-hmm. So they can lie to themselves while Trump's in office and pretend like the economy's doing okay.
Well, let's think about it. We have these candidates who want to get rid of the Second Amendment. They want to get rid of, coal, oil, any of those, fossil fuel related jobs. They want to get rid of them. They want to get rid of, obviously the school of choice thing is a bad idea. To them it is. They believe that it's stupid of you to go after a private health insurance group instead of relying on the government to do the health coverage for you. Like, these assholes think they can handle everything, but in reality, no, you can't.
But they know what's in their bank accounts. They know they're not invested in the stock market. They know that they're working multiple jobs to make ends meet for their children. They know all of that. They might be super defiant in responding to Democrats who say, "See, I told you." But in reality, they know their situation. When you have someone who's actually offering them real solutions and has a track record to prove that he's gonna do something for them, I think then you have a candidate that could actually beat Donald Trump. I don't think beating him is gonna be as easy as some people think, but you need to have the right candidate.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it.
That was an unnecessary jump cut right there. That was shit editing, guys. So there you have it, guys. They're still delusional. They just don't know what the hell's going on, and I don't think they don't want to know what's going on, even if we tell them or show them anything. They'd rather just say, Orange Man bad, 24/7. And Anna, I'm still waiting for your fucking apology for what you just said earlier. Comparing us to terrorist supporters, that is low, man. That's like a law-abiding citizen just being labeled as a fucking murderer.
If you do not apologize for the terrorist statement you made, Dr. Schlottgen will give you back your old nose.
Where did you get that?